Hello, everybody. It's great to have this opportunity to be talking to you again. It feels like a while since I've made a video. Today's been a very full day, so as you can perhaps tell, I'm recording this after it's gone dark, which tells you how late in the day we are. But I just wanted to reflect a little bit more as we look back on kind of all that we've looked at in Psalm 146. This Sunday is our final section of that psalm, and we've been looking at what God is doing throughout that psalm. And in particular, I wanted to have a look at a passage in John 5 and have a look at something that Jesus says in that passage. So in John chapter 5, Jesus heals a man who'd been invalid for 38 years. And he tells him to kind of pick up his mat and walk. You probably recognise that phrase, get up, pick up your mat and walk, quite famous. At once the man was cured, verse 9, he picked up his mat and walked. Then he obviously continues on his way and eventually gets berated by some Jewish leaders because you're not allowed to carry your mat on the Sabbath. And he says, but the man who made me well said, pick up your mat and walk. And so they try to find out who it is and discover that it was Jesus. And so verse 16 says, so because Jesus was doing these things on the Sabbath, the Jewish leaders began to persecute him. In his defense, Jesus said to them, my Father is always at work to this very day, and I too am working. So there's this picture that Jesus gives the Jewish leaders of God always being at work. And as we've been looking and thinking through these phrases in Psalm 146, we've carried that sense that God is constantly at work. He's always doing this stuff in his world. And Jesus says, I too am working. He's engaged with what the Father is doing. This makes them very angry, the fact that he calls God his Father. And then in verse 19, Jesus says the thing that I sort of want to just as to notice. Jesus gave them this answer. Very truly I tell you, the Son can do nothing by himself. He can only do what he sees his Father doing, because whatever the Father does, the Son also does. And then verse 20, for the Father loves the Son and shows him all he does. Yes, and he will show him even greater works than these, so that you will be amazed. So Jesus says God the Father is constantly at work in his world. And he says the only things that he can do as he lives as a human on the earth is those things that he sees his Father doing. And if you know anything about his life, he's doing all kinds of amazing and astonishing and remarkable things throughout his life. But all of it is what he sees the Father doing. He's not running around like mad, trying to work out what needs to be done and trying to fix everything left, right and centre and kind of do whatever he thinks needs to be done. He only does what he sees the Father doing. And we have a great example of that just in the story that we talked about with the healing at the pool. It says in Jerusalem, verse 2, near the sheep gate, there is a pool which in Aramaic is called Bethesda, and which is surrounded by 5 covered colonnades. Here a great number of disabled people used to lie, the blind, the lame, the paralysed. Jesus approaches this area, which is filled with disabled people, people who need his touch, who need his healing power. And they were sat there because when the water used to be stirred in the pool, people believed that it had healing powers, so they tried to get in as soon as they could. But Jesus doesn't go round one by one. Oh my goodness, look at all these people who need healing, one after another. He sees what the Father is doing. We don't know how he knew, but he knew that this was what God was asking him to do. He went straight for this one individual and healed him. We don't, as far as we can tell, there was nobody else received a healing that day, as far as we can tell from here. Jesus does only what he sees the Father doing. I guess the challenge for us, therefore, is day by day, are we alert? Are we looking out for what the Father is doing? Dave shared a great example in one of his talks recently about his friend across the road who spots birds when he's out and about and can just see birds that no one else has noticed because he's tuned in and he's looking out and he's listening and he's aware. And that's the challenge for us, certainly is for me each day. Am I alert and aware? Am I tuned into God? And certainly that involves me setting some time aside to tune into him, to listen to him, to engage with him, to hand myself over to him, to put myself in his hands for that day and say, today I'm only going to do what I see you doing. And then to be alert, to be ready, to be looking, to be listening. What is it that God is doing and what part does he want me to play in that? And I love that Jesus himself, who we see as kind of different to us, some super-powered being. He was a human being. He put down his divinity, his godness, to be a human. And it's a significant thing that he says that the only thing he chooses to do is what he sees the Father doing. Even Jesus didn't go off on his own doing what he thought. He listened and obeyed. So let's just pray into that. Lord, thank you that you are ready each morning to engage with us, to meet with us, to lead us, direct us, empower us. Lord, so many days we wake up and we're often running without any reference to you. We don't take that time to tune in. Lord, may today not be that day. May we take a moment to tune into you. May we engage with you through the day. May we be alert to what you are doing and what you are not doing. And may we know and have the courage to step into what you would have us to do this day in your name, in our conversations, in our engagements with others, in our own time that we have set aside. Lord, lead us and guide us that we may do what you are doing today. Amen. Great to chat to you again. Hopefully be speaking to you sometime soon. Take care. Bye for now.